if we were standing around talking about the T in our social media, this is what we may all be talking about. It's sponsored by Hot Topic. Hot Topic is an American retail chain with nearly 700 locations specializing in counterculture-related clothing and accessories, as well as licensed music. Hot Topic represents many varied interests of the LGBTQ plus community, including music, movies, graphic artists, gaming, and more. Hot Topic features one of the largest collections of Pride merchandise that celebrates all aspects of the LGBTQ plus community. Hot Topic is a major supporter of the diversity of our community and supports many events, festivals, and nonprofit LGBTQ plus organizations. Very notable is the support of the Trevor Project, the LGBTQ plus community's most important voice of LGBTQ plus young people. And that's why they are the sponsor of It's Happening Else Hot Topic. So this is it. HIV stigma refers to irrational or negative attitudes, behaviors, and judgments toward people living with or at risk of HIV. It can negatively affect the health and well-being of people living with HIV by discouraging some individuals from learning their HIV status, accessing treatment, or staying in care. HIV stigma drives acts of discrimination in all sectors of society, including healthcare, education, the workplace, the justice system, families, and communities. When talking about HIV, certain words and languages may have a negative meaning for people at high risk for HIV or those who have HIV. You can do your part to stop HIV stigma by being intentional and thoughtful when choosing your words and choosing to use supportive rather than stigmatizing language when talking about HIV.
Hey, I just wanted to check in with you on something.
Okay, what is it?
Since you're going home with Rex, I just figured you might want to know. Rex is HIV positive.
Did he tell you to tell me that?
No.
Well, then who do you think you are telling me this?
I figured if you're going home with him, you might want to know.
You think I don't know how to handle myself?
I'm sure you do.
Good, because you clearly don't. Don't ever reveal his status or anybody else's status with anybody ever. That is none of your business.
I'm confused. If I were in your shoes, I would want to know.
Well, that's you, and like you said, you're confused.
Kenneth said he would want to know too.
Oh, Kenneth! Kenneth, isn't he the one that last month got a chemical burn on his nose from huffing poppers too hard? No, I'm not taking life advice from him or from you.
I thought it was doing you a favor.
Why don't you do yourself a favor and educate yourself? Because right now, you're sounding really posphobic, and that is something I really don't want to associate with.
Michael, I was just trying to help.
Help from what, Jeremy? You think that HIV is the boogeyman or some weapon that Rex has? Because it isn't.
I just don't know if he tells people.
Well, that's none of your business, man. I'm the one that's going home with him, not you. And I ask the questions that I need to when I need to. Not everybody airs out their personal life all across West Hollywood like you do.
Well, make sure you watch the full video titled Status on Michael Henry's YouTube. I had a great interview with Michael Henry, which I hope you also watch. Our hot topic of the week: when, if ever, is it okay to share someone else's HIV status?
It's never.
Never.
It's never okay.
No, that is
Because of the shaming or the violation of privacy?
It's a violation of privacy. Like, it is none of your business. And if you are sexually active with someone, it's your responsibility to find that information out, not for someone else to be part of the gossip train and talk about everyone else's status.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not HIV positive, but I have a lot of friends who are HIV positive, and I would never tell their business to someone else and be like, oh, so-and-so is positive.
Yeah.
Like, it's not my place. It's no one else's business. It's between them and the person that they're going to bed with.
Yeah, it's nobody's business.
No.
It's at all. And and we all know people who are out with their with their status, and they advocate and they help other people, and it's still not okay to out those people. Very similar to Alcoholics Anonymous. When you go to an AA meeting and you see somebody out on the street, you can't tell them where you saw them. All right, and I made that mistake 41 days sober. I saw this guy at Publix and he's there with his wife, and I'm like, oh my God, hi, sober buddy. Oh. She's like, how do you know this tall ass Amazon woman? Yeah. And he's like, oh, from something. He hadn't told her that he was going to these meetings. Wow. You know what I mean? So again, I learned quick. That's how you have to be with someone's status as well. It's not up to you to relinquish that information to anybody.
Right.
I mean, I remember I dated a guy with HIV, and I remember that me being negative and him being positive, just that was so stressful for him that I can't even, like, honestly, I can't picture being a person who feels like bold enough to tell someone about someone else's status. Like, I really have a hard time because to me, it goes into like all the other things. Like, you don't share when a person's got, mental health diseases. You don't do any of that. And it's like, it's very strange to me that, especially like in our community, some people think of it like how the video said, like you're doing someone a favor or something like that, as if this person's being secret or they're not being honest or they're all of a sudden like, you guys are stepping just way beyond.
Or if they're tainted, oh, you got to be careful. Like, what the F? Like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
Like, come on.
It's interesting to me, before we move on, the perspective today in 2023, if you are 25 years old, the perspective today in terms of PrEP and the abilities of the defensibility against HIV is so prevalent that you can have a cavalier attitude, frankly, against HIV. I have lots of friends that have a very cavalier attitude. The use of condoms, for example. Why do I need a condom because I'm on PrEP? Well, there's lots of STDs that PrEP is not going to help you with.
Yeah.
But even in this subject of focusing on the HIV, when somebody outs in this way, and this is my reaction, and mine is a little bit different because of an age perspective. Most of you do not live in an environment in 1986 where you have 100 funerals in 1 year. And I did. And as a result, AIDS is something we're never going to get over. From my age group, we're never going to get over it, ever. 1988 to like 1997 was just, it was the Black Plague.
Yes.
And as a result, when you are cavalier on HIV today because of PrEP, etc., and you're 25 years old, you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. And you look so stupid, you're beyond stupid. But that's a perspective of somebody that went through 1988 to 1997.
As a perspective of someone who's younger, 24, just a year younger than your perspective choice age range, I have dated primarily undetectable HIV men, and having those open, clear conversations in the initial, right from the first message on the chat or to a week later after coffee and brunch, it is not my place to tell their friends, not my place to tell their family. I know people who are still not informing their family about their status, and that's their choice, and I can only respect them and love them for who they are on that. And I truly hope we get to a point where everyone does the same.
And one step farther, I know in this community, I know lots and lots of people that are HIV positive and undetectable, whatever the degrees are, but they still have HIV.
Correct.
Yeah.
They don't even know I know. And that's the way it should be. The privacy of their privacy should be their privacy. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't think that way. No. All right. We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show from Happening Out Television Network. In the model of PBS and NPR, we educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the stories going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.